Hello, hello. Hello, everyone. Hello. Welcome to, what day is it? Welcome to Thursday. It's Winter here. Kayla here. Basically, I just got off 2 back-to-back coaching calls and the energy was just so amazing. Like, I'm so grateful to be in this space. So I wanted to make some content. Basically, this video will be going over, I will be reacting to a video summarizing one of my favorite books that has to do with like productivity and organizing your life. And it's called Atomic Habits by James Clear. Sorry if I sound like a bit congested. I'm doing my best to not get the winter ick that's going around. So I'm going to be like bathing in a tub of fire cider once I get off this call. But I wanted to share this with you. It's a format that I'm experimenting with, like just the reaction kind of format. But what I'm reacting to is just like stuff I love, books that I've read, ideas, things like that. And I really like YouTube because it creates a visual for ideas that can be very complex to understand. I'm a very visual learner, and there are lots of other like visual visionaries in this space with me. So I figured we would like just learn together. Again, my name is Kayla. I have created a program, a space called the Successful Creative Academy. And inside it, we learn all about how to overcome procrastination, work smarter, earn more, especially as we're in our new year, 2024. Like, no better time to learn these things. So a lot of what I study a lot of and like sharing with others, like learning about it with others, is a lot of mindset and inner work stuff to even get to the point where we can like dare to dream and do in these ways. As well as a lot of stuff about like marketing and sales and technical business basics, business aspects, as an entrepreneur or as like someone who's just interested in, leveraging my creativity more in the marketplace. Like, these are super important things to learn. So I'm in the marketing space, I'm in the mindset space, and I'm in like the motivation space. Like, let's get inspired to even do all of it. I have a background in psychology. I have my degree from Ohio State. So again, love the mindset stuff. So we're really combining like not only the mindset stuff, but also like a spiritual, mystical aspect to that, like the philosophy, like who are we, why are we here, but also meeting that with just practical business, productivity, basics, and things like that. So we can really have like structure and support for our like fluidity and flow and creativity to really swirl in. And yeah, so I'm really excited to be sharing all of that with you. We're streaming to YouTube, Facebook, Twitch. I'm on a site called StreamYard right now. Content creators out there, let me know if you are on StreamYard, if you like it. I really, really love it. And I highly recommend looking into it for people who create content out there. You know what I mean? Me personally, I personally don't like editing kind of like at all. So I would rather go, all of the juicy fruits of like the live format. If I would ever find an editor, very cool. I'm open to that. But no, I love this app and this platform for what it can do for streaming, live streaming. It's in the name. So again, in the comments, let me know where you are showing up if you would like. I can totally see all of the comments as they come through. You can ask any questions that you have as they come up. Yeah, so we're just going to dive right into it. We're going to be reviewing and like reacting to a summary of Atomic Habits by James Clear, one of my favorite books ever, but specifically in this realm of like productivity and lifestyle design and setting yourself up to not only crush your goals, but do it in a way that is very easy for your unique self and way of being, if that makes sense, because we all like move kind of different. And if you're trying to follow someone else's path or like what works for them, it can sometimes be not what is best for you. Okay, here we go. I want to make myself small in the corner. And darn, I was trying to figure out how to make this not be black. I want it to be like pink or something way more fun. That's like a technical aspect I'll need to figure out some other time. And again, in the comments or wherever, let me know if you have read this book or like seen this video before, what your thoughts were on it. So we're going to start it.
It's not that luck and randomness and uncertainty don't play a role in life. They do. Luck is a part of all of our lives to a certain degree, both good fortune and bad. But by definition,
all right, I'm just going to make sure it's not sped up. Okay, it's normal playback speed. It's just going fairly fast. Okay.
And you don't have control over luck. And your habits also matter. And I think that the reason they're so worthwhile to focus on and understand is that they are the portion of your life that you can influence that also determines your outcomes. It's not just
okay, I'm already stopping it, but this is a very key critical point that I really like. The whole point is, yes, we are ruled by some random force called luck or fate, or like something is ruling us, right, or influencing us. But hey, we have like little morsels of control out here, and that comes through, you know, doing what we want to do, having whatever habits that we want to have. So I think it's like super empowering to just understand the reality of like, yes, there are many forces at play that we have not even begun to understand, like influencing us. But hey, darn it, we got a little bit of control as well. So we might want to implement that and really use it to our advantage.
Luck, it's not just habits, but one of those you have control over. And so it makes sense. The only reasonable strategy is to focus on what you can control. If you spend all of your time focusing on things you can't control, then you're just going to end up frustrated. And so
yeah, you should focus on what you can control. And I even think that's like it's like a message in the Bible. Like lots of wise people have kind of at least realized this. Not like it's easier said than done. I love trying to control things I can't control, but just in the mind, like, yes, it's so simple and it makes so much sense. Yes, continue.
I think habits are maybe the best lever for that. Talent and genes, they play a role, and it's important. You know, people have natural predispositions to things that make them better. But what you find is that nearly always when someone is a great performer in a particular domain, they are both well suited, so naturally talented or have some kind of predisposition to that area, and well trained. And so even if you are talented, you can't succeed without having great habits to execute and to fully realize the potential.
So again, he's talking about what is in our control and what is not in our control. And something that is not in our control is our genetics, but to an extent. Like we were born with a certain like DNA codes that we can get into rearranging that and all of that. But for the most part, if you're like 7 foot tall, it's going to be so much like easier for you to be good at like basketball or something like that, versus if you are like 3 foot tall. Like, no offense, these are the things that we have less control over. So he's saying, independent of all of that, having good habits is essential for whatever cards you're dealt, if that makes sense. Or it helps to focus on habits over what you can't even control.
Potential that you have. Your outcomes in life are often a lagging measure of your habits. You know, like a lot of the time people talk about, you know, I want to have more money, or I want to lose weight, or I want some kind of result. But the truth is, your bank account is a lagging measure of your financial habits. Your weight is a lagging measure of your eating habits. Your knowledge is a lagging measure of your learning and reading habits. And so it's actually, we think the thing that needs to change is the bank account or the test score or the number on the scale, but actually the thing that needs to change.
So yeah, this is reminding me again of something that I've heard. I can't remember where it's from. I'm distracted by a comment. 1 second. But the quote is like, you are what you habitually do. Like if you are overweight, if you're underweight, if you're well read, if you're not well read, like if you are this thing, understand that you are the sum of like all the little bit like habits that have led you to that moment. And that can be like, that can be good, you know what I mean? Or that can be bad. Like this effect, this like compound interest effect, the atomic habits effect. It's acting on us, whether we're using it for our own good or to our own detriment. So again, it's nice to even just become aware of this principle of reality, so it seems, and then use it to our benefit the best we can, as well as like stop feeling bad. Sorry, got to clean my language for YouTube, but stop feeling bad for the things you can't control.
Or the habits that precede those outcomes. Every action you take is kind of like a vote for the type of person you want to become. And if you can master the right actions, if you can master the right habits, then you can start to cast votes for this new identity, this desired person that you want to be. And I think that's one of the reasons why small habits matter so much. They don't necessarily transform your life overnight, right away. Like doing one push-up does not transform your body, but it does cast a vote for being the type of person who doesn't miss workouts.
So yeah, it's like baby steps, right? If you start working out, you're not going to become some super fit person overnight. But what you're going to do, like he's saying, is you're going to take a vote through that action for who you want to become, or like step away from who you don't want to become. And that is good.
Or meditating for 1 minute might not give you an immediate sense of calm in your life, but it does cast a vote for being a meditator. The real goal is not to run a marathon. The goal is to become a runner. The goal is not to write a book. The goal is to become a writer. Because once you've adopted that identity, you're really not even pursuing behavior.
Well, so something coming through for me is like, you are greater than your goals. Like anything that you're saying that you want to do, like I want to run a marathon. Your being is greater than anything you will ever do. Therefore, if you center your like self-concept and value into your being, you can basically feel always on that journey. Whereas if you're focused on a doing, like I want to run a marathon, I want to get this degree. Once you've done that, then you can maybe have like an existential crisis or like not knowing what to do, because you're focused on the doing as opposed to being, which I just personally resonate more with, centering from that point of
change anymore.
Habits.
You're just kind of acting in alignment with the type of person you already see yourself to be. It's kind of like true behavior change is really identity change, because once you've changed that internal story, it's way easier to show up each day. You're not even really motivating yourself that much to do it. You're just like, this is who I am now. There's a sort of a misalignment of rewards that often happens with habits. So there's an immediate outcome, an immediate reward, and then an ultimate reward. And for your bad habits, one reason bad habits stick so readily, that they form so easily, is because bad habits, often the immediate reward is favorable, right? Like what's the immediate reward of eating a donut? It's kind of great. It's sweet, it's sugary, it tastes good. It's only the ultimate reward, if you repeat that habit for 6 months or a year or 2 years, that is unfavorable. Meanwhile, good habits are often the exact opposite. The immediate reward of going to the gym, or going to the gym for like a week, isn't really that great. Your body's probably sore. You don't have much to show for it. Your body looks the same. Your weight hasn't really changed. But it's, if you stick to that for 6 months or a year or 2 years, then the ultimate reward is favorable. And so a lot of the balance.
Okay. Well, that is so impactful right there. Like, if you want to be like metaphysical about it, the bad habits have like a short-term gain, but will lead you to like hell. Like this is like, I'm not talking about like literal like religious places. I'm just saying like existentially, like how you will be feeling. You will be feeling bad in hell, not good, don't want to go there. Versus if you do the good habits, and this is all subjective, right? This is, no one's telling you to do this stuff. You are deciding what you need to do, and then you do a little bit of it every day is the whole idea. And that the ultimate reward is becoming the person that you want to be, that you aspire to be. And like, oh my gosh, this is why I'm such a visual person. Looking at these ultimate rewards, like visually, it's so scary. Like this man is missing a foot. He has like diabetes, I'm thinking. And these people are like seemingly very fit on the beach, happy. This is obviously like an oversimplified example, but this is very much hitting the point of like, yo, we are creating our ultimate realities every single day. And it is getting, it's like a potential trap to fall into the immediate reward of bad habits, you know, which again, we all know that, but it's to embody that and like live that, which can be very fun and like fruitful.
Is favorable. And so a lot of the balance or a lot of the challenge of building good habits and breaking bad ones is figuring out how to pull the long-term costs of your bad habits into the present moment. So you feel a little bit of that pain right now and have a reason to avoid it, and pull the long-term rewards of your good habits into the present moment. So it feels good. And you have a reason to kind of make it through that like valley of death in the beginning and stick with it while you're waiting for those delayed rewards to accumulate. I think we could just summarize that whole cognitive bias or misalignment of rewards by saying the cost of your good habits is in the present and the cost of your bad habits is in the future. And the fact that we prioritize the present over the future ends up making a lot of habit change difficult for that reason. If I was going to give some practice.
So again, in the last slide, he's talking about the science of why we even form these bad habits and how it is so hard to change them. So it's like, if you have a bad habit, that's not the same thing as being a bad person. That is saying, oh, you've really had some short-term reward that has made this habit stick for you, but you realize it doesn't have a long-term, it's no long game in this. So you're trying to figure out what to do. Like, totally valid. Realizing the cost of our bad habits are in the future is like so tricky. But like he's saying, what we can do is pull from the future into the present moment, into the now moment, really like, yeah, what's my reward again? What am I working towards? And like, what am I trying to avoid? Super, super cool to try to think about.
Practical takeaways. I would say first thing that you can do is probably optimize your environment, because sometimes that's all you need to do. So might as well start there, and then maybe it'll take care of itself. You know, like I mentioned, putting the apples in a bowl on the counter, that was all I needed to do. And then the habit of eating apples every day was done. Or maybe, putting your TV inside a wall unit or something, maybe that'll be enough to reduce it or curb the habit. Unsubscribe from the food blogs, and now you're not tempted to eat as many cookies or something like that.
All right, I literally just did an example of what he's saying. I deleted the YouTube app off of my phone, and I've saved time, but how I know this is because I've read like 4 books in the same time I would have just like watched something. So again, this is kind of like, it's a leisurely space. It's space that I would be relaxing or not working anyway, but it's so empowering to think like, whoa, not only have I saved so much time getting this app off of my phone, I already have something to show for it, which is like all these books I'm flying through. So it's really, really, it's interesting to, like, we're taking this into our minds right now, and it can be a lot, like it is a lot of information, but to implement it, to pick just one thing and experiment with it is so, like, to me, to apply real world psychology onto my own self and see the benefits or, benefits or not of something. It's my favorite thing ever. It's why I've been studying psychology for over like 10 years now. I am my first and only guinea pig. I share this work because I nerd out so much over it as to the effect it had in my life.
Mobile phone, super important.
Yes, right. Things like that. Removing the applications, or like you deleting Instagram off your phone. Well, that was enough.
And yeah, he's saying it right now. Deleting the app off of your phone, that was enough. For me, just did it with YouTube. Perfect. Love it.
Now your Instagram habit is roughly where you want it to be. And you just look on the desktop instead of on your phone, and that was enough, and now you're fixed. So environment design, good place to start. Next thing that I would recommend is the 2-minute rule and scaling your habits down, making them as easy as possible. Basically just downscale it to a point where you can answer the question, can I stick to this habit 98% of the time without fail, no matter what the conditions? And if you have to say no to that, then it's probably too big to start. So, pretty much every habit has an entry point, or the first thing that you try to do. Just focus on mastering that. And I think that's a good place to focus. And then building off of that, the last one that I'll recommend is,
really quick on scaling down habits. I like the 2-minute rule. I like to combine that with something Jordan Peterson has also shared. And he says, like, do it badly. So it's like, you're going to do something for like 2 minutes and then do it poorly. Do it the worst ever. That is literally better than not doing it at all, I believe. So it's like, really like, lower the bar for yourself to where you're like insulted. And then you build that habit still of just like showing up, being like, oh my God, I laugh at how easy this is. It helps you build the habit, and then you scale it up, right? Then you scale it up is the game, but master the entry point. Perfect.
There's this great story that I mentioned in the book about Twyla Tharp, the famous dance choreographer and instructor. Yeah. And she trains even now, she trains for 2 hours a day. She's, 50s, 60s. She's been training for a long time, dancing her whole career. But she doesn't actually focus on the exercise habit. The habit that she focuses on building is I put on my workout clothes and my sweatshirt and I hail the cab on the side of the street. And if I've done that, then I've completed the habit. And I think the insight that she realized is that habits are often the entry point, not the end point. They're the cab, not the gym. They're like an entrance ramp to the bigger routines in your life. And if you can master that habit, that like little decisive moment that determines what happens in the next chunk of time, then the rest of it kind of falls in line. Like I have this moment each morning where either I open up Evernote and I start writing the next article I'm going to work on, or I go to ESPN and I check the latest sports news. And what happens in the next hour is really determined by what happens in the first like 30 seconds.
How really simple this all is baffling. It's as simple as the little thing you start going with is going to lead you like on to the next thing. So it's like what, like being so precise in that entry point. Oh, it's blowing my mind. And I observe this for my own self. It's like I get up. Do I want to start the day like sitting down at my desk and creating something beautiful, you know, or do I want to start the day like turning on the freaking TV? Oh my God, like no, like what? Playing it back. Okay, there's nothing wrong with waking up and turning on the TV and like having a day. The whole point is he's saying, what do you want to do 98% of the time? So for me, it's like, I don't want to do that 98% of the time. That might be the 2%. For the majority of the time, I want to bam. What can you wake up and like have that thing be to where like the whole rest of your day is on the go, not on the go, but on alignment, back to the alignment point. How can you start your day to be then in the most alignment with your ideal self, like what you're wanting to be, who you're wanting to be, and then voting for that with your actions. Smartphones, we really have to watch out, not in a bad way, just understanding really what our cues are and how like an hour on the phone just scrolling versus an hour on the phone like creating your next course in Canva can look like two different things. It's mind-boggling.
Because if I go to ESPN, then the next hour is kind of shot. But if I start writing the article, if I master that entry point, then I'm kind of speeding in the right direction and the momentum carries me into the rest of the task. And I think that for me, that's a little bit inspiring when it comes to building habits, because what you realize is that there's actually not that much to change. There may be 5 or 10 of those little decisive moments, those little entry points throughout your day that determine whether the next chunk of time is productive or not. And if you can organize your environment or join a community or restructure your habits so that those entry points are mastered, then you're much more likely to live a good, productive day.
Yes. This is like so fun. I'm going to do like homework on this, but it's like master your entry points, right? Like what are your entry points and do they serve you, and what can they be? How can they be different if they're not serving you, right? And like he's saying, it's very simple. There's probably like 9 or 10 entry points we're talking that fractal out to be your whole day and what you're doing. As a toddler mom, a lot of my entry points revolve around, waking up or like sleeping type thing. But it's I'm going to meditate on this because I'd love to better deconstruct what my entry points actually look like now that he's phrased it like that, and I can see it so visually so well.
And so I think that those 3 things, environment design, scale your habits down, and master the entry points, those are some really good places to start.
And yes, this is that quote I was referring to earlier, inspired by Aristotle, I suppose. But yep, you are what you habitually do. And I loved how he broke it down so simply. Scale down your habit. What was it? Environmental design, scale down your habit, and then master your entry points. Again, theoretically, this is so simple. Now it's like how to actually implement it in a sea of so much wanting our time and attention. But I see this as if you can put energy into really implementing the work of Atomic Habits, what James Clear has in his book, like a bit of what has been summarized in this video we've just watched, the impact, I can't understate the impact of the little changes. It almost seems not real. But again, something to experiment with on your own if you want to.
The information in this video comes from the fantastic book Atomic Habits by James Clear. This book is jam-packed with simple tools that you can apply to change your habits and dramatically improve your life. Right now, you can listen.
Okay, so basically that was just the summary of Atomic Habits by James Clear. We watched a little YouTube video summary of it. Let me see. But yeah, what do you think? Again, who's read that book before? Do you have like homework coming off of it now? How is that going for you? I'm going to be hopping off the call here soon, but before I left, I wanted to share one more thing with you. Basically, this is the Successful Creative Academy. This is the creation I was referring to earlier at the beginning of this video. Basically, I'm such a nerd for Atomic Habits and everything that was just talked about. I wanted to create a space where we can work on creating atomic habits for ourselves and working through our goals together, specifically for people that are creative, entrepreneurial, artists, visual, mystical, just people like myself that want to work through these things, but in a way that's still kind of like fun and creative, not in like maybe a boring stuffy way that we've always thought like business or marketing or blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? Like I like to think I'm bringing like a fun, fresh approach to these like ancient things that humans have been studying for a long time, as well as being a mother. I'm especially trying to understand and embody tools in the space of how to master these things, being successful at business while also being mothers, which is like a whole other trip. Like this channel is not focused on motherhood, but I'm just saying for people that are in a similar experience to me, trying to make it all make sense. I'm so excited for you to come into the space and get just like access to all the stuff I've ever learned about this, having gone through it myself. So we have enrollment open now for the Academy. Again, let's work smarter and earn more. Let's prosper financially, however way prosperity can come in so many ways. But as lots of us are business owners, financially would be awesome. Accountability and motivation, that's really what you're going to find, not only from me, but hopefully yourself and other people in the group. There's monthly coaching with me. Like I said, I just hopped off of back-to-back calls, which is why I was so inspired to make this video. We have our next course rolling out. That'll be the Passive Income Accelerator, like a business basics course for people that are ready to start focus there right now. Basically, I also have a free offering called a Vision Quest. It's a bunch of questions to help people think through who they are and what they want. And this is like a totally free starting point that even comes with like a complimentary strategy session from me, because I really want people to get off on the right foot, which is having clarity and alignment within their own selves, in their own hearts, before deciding what they should do, right? Like focus on like, get your being straight, and then let's figure out the doing and having this as well. So that's all at the successfulcreative.com if you'd want to look more onto that. Let me see if I can link the thing. Bam. Haha. The Successful Creative Academy. So that is all here for you all. Here's like some of the benefits: feeling aligned with your creative gifts, increasing your productivity and prosperity, support of like-minded community, accountability, planning, strategy, support. Like I love all of that stuff. Helping you feel abundant, focused, in the flow, and really focusing on the end goal without getting like too overwhelmed or like sidetracked on side missions, right? We're really good at like having something come up and then being like, all right, let's table that until next quarter, something like that, essentially. Because everything is valid. We just really need to prioritize and get things in their right place. Also, just the foundations of where to start or how to kind of scale your signature online offer. If that's really what you're focused on right now, we can do that. So yes, again, just wanted to share that with you. But again, the heart of this video was sharing Atomic Habits for you, putting it out into the universe, how much I love this book. Shout out James Clear, shout out After School for creating that beautiful animation to go along with some of the key points of Atomic Habits. So again, I'm going to be hopping off of here, but there we go. I'm going to be hopping off of here, but shout out to everyone who's tuned into this message now or in the past. It's January right now, so we still have some more space open in the academy before we get going on the course. So don't hesitate to reach out or enroll through the link and all of that. Wishing you that you're doing so well. I can't wait for more people to connect with my messaging, what I'm interested in studying right now, just to overall build a community through the rest of this year. I'm super excited. Fun stuff is going to happen. I'm excited to nerd out with you all and keep learning. I hope you all stay warm for everyone where it's like really cold right now. And yeah, I'm gonna hop off of here. Take care, everyone. It's so hard to leave. I just want to like keep going through videos I find interesting, but I will have lots of inspiration for my next video. Until next time, bye-bye.